Okay, welcome once again to Look and Live. You here with Pastor James Devallon. In this one, I'm going to share my perspective on a particular video that I have found online a couple years ago that speaks about mental health and different ways to approach these matters. I realize in our world today, we got some serious issues. Not only we are suffering from a world that has departed from God. And I think as a result, every other issues follow. And I think mental health has become one of those things we got to talk about. And if you were to ask me, I think it's more than just psychological. I think there is a state of immorality. Even to take it one step further, there's some degree of demonic possession there as well. And I think a lot of it is demonic, but we can have a whole nother debate about that. But I found these videos that I'm going to share with you to be somewhat of help to deal with what's going on in the mind, especially in times like these in which we live, where we are seeing so many deaths and so many young people losing their lives on various numbers for various reasons at a much higher scale than ever before. It is very concerning. And I've been looking into mental health all this week, and I've been listening to NF and reading my Bible, doing prayer, reading into depression and looking at verses in scripture that deals with that. And I'm realizing that that is part of the reason why this world is such in a bad place, is that a lot of time we talk about the issues, but we are not addressing the problems behind the issues in which our culture is suffering from. So the videos that I'm going to be sharing with you were Dr. Jennifer Jill, her name is Jill Switzer. She has done an amazing job as a psychologist addressing some of these issues that are going on in the light of in the mind. And so we're going to have an introduction, and we're going to do the first video. I'm going to let her run through that and make note of some of the things that she talks about. And at the end, we're going to share some perspective as always. But like I've said, this is going to be an educational for some of us. The goal is not to preach. The goal is to learn, is to understand, in the hope that we can share the message with somebody else. So I hope you have an open heart, because this is really a good one. All right, let's begin with the introduction video. This is coming to you from Life and Health. Okay, Life and Health. I'm gonna put the link below. You can subscribe to their page. They do a lot of that and addressing these issues as well. A lot of doctors come in there. There are some preaching going on. There's health messages in there as well, and they keep somewhat of a Christian perspective on things, which is really, really good. So this is the intro video, 7 psychological sins. So let's look at the intro, and then we're going to move to sin number 1. And every day of this week, I'm going to be releasing one of those in the morning. So let's get to it.
My name is Jennifer Jill Schwerzer. I am a licensed counselor, professional counselor, licensed in the state of Pennsylvania and nationally certified. Some people call people like me psychotherapist. Day in and day out, people come into my office and we work through their problems, and I see certain patterns that tend to repeat themselves. And I decided to boil down those patterns into a presentation that I call the 7 deadly psychological sins. Let me share a little bit about what I mean about deadly psychological sins. These aren't moral sins per se, but they are things that we do that sabotage ourselves, hurt other people, or sabotage our relationships. In other words, they're ways in which we dysfunction, we might say it that way. The format of my videos here is that I'm going to start out with the deadly psychological sin. I'm going to develop it. I'm going to help explain what I'm talking about. And then I'm going to share with you a replacement behavior, because it's futile to just point out our problems. We need to come up with a replacement for those problems. We have an expression in behavioral psychology which says that negative reinforcement stops behavior, but positive reinforcement encourages behavior. So if we don't replace those negative patterns with something positive, then we're likely to relapse, just like Jesus said, if you get one demon out, if you don't fill that room with something, 7 more are going to come in. So I'm going to give you the replacement behavior that will help to substitute for that dysfunctional pattern in your life or in the life of someone else. And I hope it's real helpful to you. I'm going to do my best to share something that's encouraging and uplifting and useful to you.
All right. I'm excited. Are you guys excited? I think this was amazing. So we're going to get into the mind. So this is the first psychological, this is the introduction. So I'm going to do the first psychological sin. We're going to run through that together. I got my note. I hope you're taking some notes as well. This is going to be helpful to some of you. So how about we go through this together? Again, we're talking about mental health. We're talking about a lot of different issues here. We're talking about a lot of things that's happening in your life, in my life, regardless of where we're from, who we are. There are ways we can find help, and I think videos like these will be of great help to some of you, and at least to us as a people. Now, let's go to sin number 1. The first one is criticism. All right, let's look at that together.
First deadly psychological sin is criticism. Criticism. I don't know if you've borne the brunt of being raised in a critical home, but human beings are by nature negatively focused and problem focused. In fact, research has shown that 75% of the interactions between teachers in elementary school and their students is negative. Research has also shown that in a child's lifetime, from birth to 18 years old, he hears the word no from his parent 148,000 times. Bottom line of all this is that positive interaction, and particularly affirmation versus criticism, is a learned skill. It's something we have to do proactively and intentionally, or we will revert back to our critical patterns. Story is told of a young man who was complaining about the hymns at church. He said they were very boring. His father said, well, if you're going to complain about it, then write one of your own. Boy went into his bedroom and he wrote the hymn, "When I Survey the Wondrous Cross." The young man was Isaac Watts, and he went on to write over 350, many of them famous hymns, including Joy to the World. So there's a place for criticism. Criticism serves a function. We, by nature, as human beings, are capable of reason and what we call critical thinking. All criticism is not bad, but we need to sort of capture this beast and train it so that it benefits us and others. Scientific research has shown that people that are raised in critical environments where there's much criticism among the family of origin tend to have more depression diagnoses and more depressive symptoms. In fact, a critical environment at home has been associated with a broad spectrum of mental illnesses such as schizophrenia and other psychotic disorders. I have a quote here from Abraham Lincoln. "He has the right to criticize who has the heart to help." In order to find out if you have the heart to help that person, I recommend that you ask yourself 3 questions before criticizing them. Number 1, do I love to criticize or do I hate to criticize? If you love it, I think you need to give yourself pause there. Number 2, am I doing it to help? Is that my motive? Number 3, will I do it kindly and will I do it to that person's face? Beware of cyber criticism. Cyber criticism can easily turn into a form of cyberbullying. It's really best when you're addressing sensitive topics to talk to that person eyeball to eyeball, so to speak. The replacement for criticism, I'm sure you're dying to know, very simple. It's affirmation. Learn to affirm people. This does not come naturally to us. I recommend that if you're a critaholic, we might call it, that you go on a criticism fast for 2 to 3 weeks where you criticize nothing, no one, not even yourself, for 3 weeks. I challenge you to try that. And that afterward, when you issue a criticism, always do it in what we call affirmation sandwich style. You affirm that person, then you issue the criticism, and then you follow it up with another affirmation. This helps to soften the blow. Marriage expert John Gottman says that in order to neutralize the emotional impact of a criticism, one must affirm 5 times. So remember that ratio, 5 affirmations to 1 criticism. What is the effect of an affirming environment in the home? We've talked about the effect of a critical environment. What's the effect of an affirming environment? Some research has shown that there's a positive correlation between fatherly affirmation and high self-esteem in girls. There's a negative correlation between fatherly affirmation and fear of intimacy. So in other words, if fathers affirm their daughters, they're likely to feel good about themselves and they're likely to be able to develop healthy relationships. Sounds like a good thing to do. Try starting today affirming someone that you would normally criticize. And usually, I hate to say it, but it's those that are closest to us that we tend to be so critical of. But try turning that around and intentionally, proactively affirming that person. They won't know what happened.
So let me ask you, did you learn anything? I hope you have, because we're going through a school here. We are learning, we are growing, and I think this was beautiful. Would you agree? So the first psychological sin that I've heard, and I would like to hear your thoughts below, is criticism, right? Criticism. We're not saying criticism is bad, but to criticize all day, all night is not a good thing either. So part of the reason why people feel the way they do has a lot to do in the way that we criticize them. Talking about our children, 75% of the discussions we have with kids, even in school, are negative. 148 times we say no to our children from a period of, I forgot how long, what was the age limit to that. So we have a lot of negative interaction with those around us. You know, think about it. How do you treat your families? How do you treat your wife, your husband, your children? What is the conversation like? Is it more about the issues that is in their lives? Are we focused on the problem, or are we looking for positivity to address and uplift them? And I can say I'm guilty of some of this. I'm guilty of this even in my church, with my wife, with my family. So this is a positive learning experience for me as well. So even the way we talk about politics and certain people in office that we have issues with, even in the way that we address them, is very significant to keep in mind that these are human beings. Certain things you type on YouTube, on Facebook, what you put in a comment, you go on Twitter and you write your piece, and sometimes it is a form of criticism that is not always helping the situation or the person. And I think there's some things we need to think about. Cyber criticism is a real thing. People commit suicide as a result of this. So I do believe we have to curtail and speak in ways that will always lift people. This doesn't mean we can call out sin. We can say things is wrong. We can have constructive criticism. This doesn't mean it's okay. It's not okay to expose a particular wrong. But I love what they speak about the affirmation sandwich concept. What is that affirmation sandwich? Is when you give 5, for my note is 5 affirmation and 1 criticism. That's pretty good. And by the way, these are very biblically method approach to a lot of issues. So I have found that even in the Bible, Jesus sometime will look at like the 7 churches in Revelation. Look how Jesus approached them. He's like, I know your works. You are this. You are zealous for me. You stood firm for that. But this one thing I have against you. So he tends to talk about the positivity that was in his church, and then he addresses them on their flaws. And I think in the same way as well, that the people that we are nearest to, those friends and family of ours, they want to hear more positivity coming from you and I. Doesn't mean we have to accept their wrongs, but we need to speak about the things that they're doing right and lift them up, you know, and it's okay to criticize certain things that are wrong and expose it for what it is, but do it with the hope that I'm looking to help you and not to hurt you. And it's the same thing with me. I try not to speak on an issue that I don't think I could use in a positive. That's why if I criticize a video, I try to always share a word of hope or give something in the Bible or show the positive side of the story. But I think there are some things I could also do better, because I think this is a learning experience for me as well. So yeah, there's much more that we can talk about. Father affirmation, affirming their daughters. That is so good. I have a daughter that I I know she was going through a situation recently, and I gave her a call and just prayed with her over the phone. And I think that's all she needed. I didn't have to preach to her. I didn't have to give her a Bible verse. She just wanted to know that I care. And she's such an awesome daughter. And much more could be said. But I would like to hear from you. What have you learned from this video? Do you think this is good? Can we continue with the content? We're going to keep it under 15 minutes, so I'm going to end this video right here. We have another video to follow that, and the next one in the lineup is complaining. So these are the 7 psychological sins. Complaining. So I'll see you on the next one. By the way, make sure you like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. Let me know how you're enjoying this. Is this helpful to you? And if it is, check out their YouTube page, Life and Health. Check out their YouTube page. There's a link below for each particular video, and I'm hoping this will be a blessing to you. They got so much more going on, guys, so much more going on, and I'm hoping to bring some of their content to this channel in a way to make a difference in the world. All right, until next time, and as always, remember to look unto Jesus, live by faith, like and subscribe to the page. Once again, God bless you. I love you. Stay firm, stay strong. Let's go forward. We can do this together. Have a good one. Bye.